Hello there, here and we are back with Mycorrhiza. So we have completed door 1 and now let's open door 2, shall we? I've never explored door 2 and door 3, I only explored door 1 in the demo, and even that I only try one road, and as you can see there's actually some things that I didn't know exist in door 1. Hello kitty. Anyway, yes, let us open the second door, shall we? Oh fuck, that is horrifying. Now I remember what it is. I kinda forgot. Yeah, I think I've actually opened a little bit, just the door, but I don't remember what it is. I don't even play it because back then Mycorrhiza was kinda lagging in my computer, so I decided not to play it. And it was not full release, so I decided to avoid it as well. Interesting, hello. I shot away, panting heavily, my clothes sticking to my skin due to all the sweat. My eyes darted around the room, but everything was quiet. I seemed to be safe. So you remember the last part, even though you said opening all the door in no order doesn't matter? Fascinating. Probably doesn't matter, it's just pulls out the last door you have seen. A nightmare? Seems like I just had a nightmare. There was some kind of animal or monster, and there was some eerie plant. I had forgotten most of the dream, but I knew that it must have been terrifying. The pulsing pain in my head slowly subsided. I took deep breath and kept mumbling to myself that it had all been a dream, nothing more. After calming down, I decided to take another look around the house. The fact that no one was here, even though the lights were on, was still nagging at the back of my mind. A look out of the window confirmed that it was still night. Interesting, this time it's still night. I'd either slept for a whole day or only for a few hours. Considering how tired I felt, it must have been the latter. I left the bedroom to retire the doors just in case. They were still locked. I really wanted to go home and take a shower. I smelled my clothes and they indeed had started to smell slightly sour. This place seemed to have nothing left to offer. I'd be better off out in the streets even if it was still dark. You sure? Okay, all I needed to do was find a police station. They'd definitely be able to help me. They are not. As I wandered around, I grew more and more aware of how big this town was. Are the stories related or not? The buildings were tall and nature was rather scarce. The streets, however, were completely empty. Suddenly, my ears began to pick up the subtle sounds of laughter. The sound turned up to unease in my empty stomach. I hear it as well. It was awfully late for such a public crowd. There wasn't cheering or rounds of applause. Only laughter. Just laughter, loud and obnoxious laughter that didn't seem to subside or grow. It became louder as I approached the town center. Soon it turned into a wave of commotion by what sounded to be a massive crowd. They just laughed and kept laughing. It sounded dreadful. I was tempted to change course and avoid them. Yet this direction was my best bet for finding an inn or a police station. These priorities outweighed my sense of danger. Sense of danger, eh? I pressed on. The laughter was bellowing with hundreds of voices until finally I could glimpse the source of the commotion. The crowd gathered around a performer who was doing something to make them laugh. I strained to see the action, peeking through the small gaps between the people while keeping a safe distance. The group was just too dense. I couldn't see any details. You don't want to see any details. Curiosity overwhelmed me and I started pushing through the people. They seemed to melt away without paying me much attention. As I approached, I passed a table with books. I couldn't make out their title, but I could see something that resembled a mask on the cover. Paying it no mind, I pressed onward. I couldn't understand what was happening. The performer wasn't making any sounds. I couldn't make out any movement from beyond the crowd either. Me neither. I cannot understand what is happening. What was so entertaining? Interesting. Finally, I reached the front. But what I saw was the opposite of funny. It was horrifying. Well, I mean, it's two sides of a coin, if you ask me. That could be funny. Yeah, I mean, that could be a funny person. You're judging someone based on their appearance. That's a shame. What was wrong with his head? I mean, yeah, that person could be really funny, as I said before. He turned his hip so that everyone in the crowd could have a clear view, as if he didn't want anyone to miss it. Why are people laughing at this? A bystander heard me. I don't know, his face just seems so funny. I mean, look at it. Frederick, hello. What do you mean his face so funny? But why are you here? I stared at him in disbelief. He and the others really did seem to find this funny. Were they seeing something I wasn't? No matter how I look at it, it didn't seem like anything other than disturbing. I averted my gaze and walked away. I wanted nothing to do with this madness. I continued to come through the town center while trying to keep my distance from the crowd. Was it morning? Soon I noticed that the sun had already started to rise. And I still hadn't found anything that even vaguely resembled a police station. Why didn't you ask people? It's kind of creepy, isn't it? Are you the she that the game talked about? I had walked by a girl that was standing nearby. She was watching the crowd from a distance. Yeah, it is. I was glad to hear that someone else was thinking the same. An awkward pause followed. I had been under the impression that she wanted to start up a conversation, but I guess that wasn't the case. You could ask where the police station is. My stomach broke the silence. Are you hungry? Duh. Blood shot to my face. It was true that I was feeling starved, swallowing my pride. I nodded. I have a sandwich with me, you can have it. Wow, thank you so much. Are you sure? No worries, I'm not hungry anyways. I had to hold myself back as to not launch onto it. But I kept my cool and ate it cautiously as to not embarrass myself. Some of my strength returned to me. In the meanwhile, I decided to ask her about this town. Sorry, I don't really know my way around here that well. Oh, so you're not from here? No, not really. Maybe I could help you look. I'm feeling a bit uneasy about being alone here anyways. I glanced back in the direction of the laughing crowd. Sure, I would really appreciate that. I'm Scott, by the way. May. Hello, May. I'm May, nice to meet you. We have met already before. Oh, another people in the background, finally. We set off to look for help. The idea to call someone I knew from my phone came up, but she didn't have it on her, unfortunately. Fascinating, so this time you doesn't have your phone. We approached several people to ask them for directions, but all of them seemed to ignore us. I tried to make some small talk with May every now and then, but her replies were almost short and didn't leave much room for follow-ups. But she perked up when I asked her about her family. I have a sister. At first I think that would be all I get out of her, but she continued after a short pause. She's been home more recently. Usually she leave early and return late or not return home at all for several days. Her job is really important, so it makes sense. So she's fired or something like that? Or did something happen to her that makes her don't want to work anymore? But I was really happy when she told me that she wouldn't go to work for a while. I assume she was finally able to request some time off. But she continued to work even at home. May hung her head. It seems like I had touched on a sensitive topic. I thought of ways to console her or cheer her up, but couldn't come up with anything to say. Since I didn't have any siblings, it was hard to relate, but it seems like she really loved her sister. I could actually relate more to my sister. Just as her, I too have barely been home due to my work. And just like her, I'll likely be working even I was home. But as opposed to my sister, I didn't have anyone who was expecting me back home. Oh, Scott. I decided against talking any further and instead shifted my focus back to asking people for directions. Without much luck. Oddly enough, it was as if they were all going in the same direction, the town center. Interesting. Do you think they are going to see that performer? Silence. Maybe she just hadn't heard me. I turned around to ask her again, but she was nowhere to be seen. Yep, she disappeared. As I finished that thought, I felt a presence behind me. I slowly turned around. Hello? Oh, Frederick. What the hell happened to your face? Did they take your face? They also make you see. Yeah, with your eyes. What the hell? What do you think? Do I look funny? What? No, get away from me! I took a few steps back, almost afraid the man would lunge at me. But he didn't, he just stood there. Yeah, they open your eyes to make you watch. What do you call it with staple? I see, maybe I didn't do it quite right. Oh, you're trying to copy the performer. And with that he walked off, disappointed. He took a book out of his pocket and started flipping through it. For some weird reason, he seemed familiar. Seemed familiar, eh? This town was giving me the creeps. I needed to get out of here as fast as I could. But as I turned around, more people like that. I saw that most of the people walking by had distorted their face in one way or another. It was as if a virus had spread while we were looking for help. This was madness. I needed to get out of here, but where to? And where was May? I was getting kind of worried. I took a look around and thought about what to do. Go through the back streets and avoid attracting any unwanted attention. Stay on the main street. It should be easier to find May or a police station that way. Let me save here. Stay on the main street. I felt uneasy around these people, but I didn't want to negatively impact my chances at finding help. Quickly, I hurried off while trying to ignore everyone's gaze. But wherever I went, those people were everywhere. On top of that, the town seemed to have no end. I couldn't find a road that led out, no matter how long I searched. Just as I was wondering about what to do, I recognized someone standing near a building. There you are! You had me worried. Oh, I'm sorry, I had something to take care of. And that is? That sounded oddly vague. But I didn't want to be rude, so I dropped it. She did give me a sandwich after all. That's kind of suspicious. Did you have any luck finding your way back home? No, still nothing, and on top of that, there are all of these weird people walking around. Actually, I know someone who may be able to help. You seems very casual about this, and even directing us into a direction. You do? Yes, they don't live far from here. How about I introduce you? And no worries, they don't own a dog. Fascinating. Oh yeah, sure, you're referring to something else, isn't it? The dog before. Wasn't she new in this town? Maybe she met them while we were separated. Yep, she did say she's new. And why did she bring up dogs? It's not like I ever told her whether I did or didn't mind dogs. Perhaps I said something during my small talk attempts that made her think that way. I considered questioning her. But this was the only lead I had found so far, and I didn't want to lose this chance. We arrived at an old, tall building. I watched May from the corner of my eye. Something seemed different about her, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. Perhaps it was just my imagination. Your imagination? After seeing all of that weird things happening? They live on the highest floor. This building is pretty old and not many people live here anymore, so it's a bit run down. I appreciate it if you went first. Oh, really? I didn't protest and lead us into the structure. The building was quite desolate, just as she had said. Very desolate. This place made me feel uneasy. I didn't want to stay here any longer than I had to. Not only was I afraid that everything would come down our heads any minute, I could only imagine what could lurk in these abandoned halls. I didn't blame her for wanting me to go first. After climbing a set of stairs, May spoke up again. It should be the door at the end of this hall. I saw the door she was referring to. It was probably the only door in the entire building that wasn't damaged. Wow. The clean coat of paint was an eerie contrast in the ravaged environment. And the one living there can help me. No reply. I turned around and saw... She's gone again. Nothing. May was gone again. She could have at least said goodbye. I walked up to the door to knock, but it was already open. Maybe I had the wrong door after all, yet May had seemed certain. Enter the apartment. Take a look around the building. Let me save again here. Well, you have been directing me into this place, so why not? Perhaps they forgot to lock the door. Or May had already notified them that we were coming and they left it open for us. I gave the door a soft push. Hello? No reply. It was a very small apartment. Door opened to the living room, which seems to double as the bedroom. A single corridor led to two more rooms, likely the bathroom and the kitchen. Just like the door itself, everything looked way too clean and tidy compared to the hallway outside. I stepped in and peered through a window, hoping to spot this person that I was supposed to meet. Everything looked normal from up here, but I knew that wasn't the case. Something was wrong with this town, and I was trapped here. Will I ever be able to return home? I had people who relied on me. Would my team at the lab manage without me? Team at the lab? You're working at a lab. I tore myself away from the window. This wasn't the time to think about that. I should be concentrating on finding a way out. I think about what to do next. Let's save again. Stay here and wait. It shouldn't be too nosy. I shouldn't be too nosy. After all, I was just a guest. So I waited. Suddenly, I heard a sound outside the apartment. I hastily slipped inside the closet and carefully pulled it shut. Why? I wasn't sure why I was hiding, but I had an awful feeling in my guts. Finding a stranger standing in your apartment probably wouldn't be something someone will take in stride, especially if you're hiding. Then again, finding one in your closet would be even worse. Oh, hello. Damn. I watched through slits in doors as they entered the apartment. They stopped in the entryway and took a look around the room. Was this the tenant? Shadows were obscuring part of their body. I strained my eyes, trying to see what they looked like. They looked smoking hot, but what I saw made me cover my mouth to suppress the gasp. The face, though. Oh. Yeah. The woman's face was ravaged, fleshy chunks clung to her forehead. Were those face parts? Tusk, forget to close the door again. She spoke to herself and moved as if nothing was wrong but her face. It was horrendous. She walked up to the mirror. This looks so much better, just like in the book. I should check the text again. I may have missed something. She picked up the book that was lying on the desk and flip it open. I see. I need more. Yes, I definitely need more. More faces. So, are you killing people and taking their faces and sew it on your body? She looked back in the mirror and caressed her disfigured face. She backed toward the exit and left the apartment. Her eyes never left the mirror. I remained frozen in the closet for a few more minutes. My heart slowly calmed itself. Once I was sure that she was really gone, I stepped out. I needed to get myself as far away from this building and this town as fast as I possibly could. As I was about to leave the apartment, a sudden wave of fatigue came over me. It was as if I had stepped onto a veil. The air had gotten heavier and my breathing became more ragged. I clutched my chest as I tried to figure out what was going on. A throbbing pain pulsed through my arm. It was as if something had stabbed me. I tried to turn around, but I had already become too weak. My fate gave in and my vision darkened. Interesting. I could feel a presence near me. The woman, May. Before I could find out, my consciousness faded. Interesting. So let's try the other options, shall we? A guide to funny faces. Indeed. Yeah, there's some other options in the apartment. I'm gonna try that first. Take a look around the apartment. Check the pictures, check the desk, check the other room. Pictures first. I had to take a look at the pictures hanging on the walls. Most of them were paintings that depicted nature, only few of them were photographs. One with a note scribbled onto it caught my eye. It depicted a man and a woman having a picnic. The note said Sabrina and Frederick BFF. So this is Sabrina's again? It seems like one of them was living here, or maybe both. Maybe. At the very least, I will now be able to recognize the tenants once I see them. Now you will then. Check the desk. The surface of the desk was crammed with beauty products. A single mirror was standing amongst them. A small book was buried beneath the clutter. Check the mirror. My own reflection peered back at me. I looked like I had aged a decade. My lack of sleep had really done a number on me. Not to mention all the strange occurrences today. If I ever get out of this, I'll need a long vacation, I thought. As I look in the mirror, a newspaper page hanging on the wall behind me caught my eye. I approached it and skimmed it in case it had any hints on what was going on in this town. But I was unfortunately wrong. This issue of Kijamhite News, as the paper was called, was several years old. So it is the town of Kijamhite. The subheading read: a rising new artist has wowed the judge at the Kijamhite art competition. We can wait to see her next work. She has a bright future ahead of her, one of the judges said. This article didn't seem to be important to my current situation, but it talks about Sabrina, isn't it? And I couldn't see any more newspaper snippets around. Disappointed, I averted my gaze and took another look around the room. The desk again? Yeah, I know. The book? I moved the small bottle aside and picked up the book underneath. The cover depicted a mask with a distorted facial expression. The title read The Art of Humor. I flipped through it. It was apparently a guide by the most hilarious one. Oh, the most hilarious one that explained how to make funny faces. But the pictures in the books were more disturbing than humorous. One description of a technique caught my eye. Finally, we arrive at the edition. Like removal, this is a very risky technique, reserved only for the cream of the crop. It may sound simple, though all you have to do is add and never stop. Search for features that are disgrace to facial humor, then take them for yourself and pair them off. The person might even thank you for all your help with removal. I glanced at the picture beside the text and shook my head in disgust. So it is taking someone else's face. I started skimming through it quickly, and sure enough, it was full of similar depictions. On the very last page, I came to a student's stop. There was a key taped to it. That was simple. Did the key come with the book, or did the owner of the book hide it in here? Oh well, it didn't matter to me anyway, since I didn't know what door the key was for. Suddenly, I heard a sound outside the apartment. There was no time to place the book back under the bottle, so I stuffed it into my pocket. Is this the same thing? I'm gonna skip it if it is. Okay, this is something new, but I can skip the previous dialogue and cannot roll back. But basically, let's see. Here's the history. I should check the text again. I may have missed something because we take the book. Oh no. I could feel the weight of the book in my pocket. I was sure I put it in here. She rummaged the desk. What? Where is it? I know it was here. It was here. She cast the bottles from the desk to the ground. They shattered, spilling their sickly, sweet-smelling contents across the carpet. The panic drained from her face. It's okay. I just need to buy a new one. It's completely fine. I'll just ask the most hilarious one if he has one left over. He has to. Leaving the door wide open. I remained frozen in the closet for a few more minutes. My heart slowly calmed itself. Once I was sure that she was really gonna step out. Is she? I needed to get myself as far away from this building and this town as fast as I possibly could. Let me check. Probably we got a key because it says we got a key, right? Ah. Key 2. I wonder what all these keys are for. Fascinating. Huh. I've already checked the picture, check the desk again. Check the book. I moved the small bottle aside and pick up the book underneath. Same thing, I think. Yeah, it's same thing. Let me skip. It was before. That is different. Interesting. Let's check the other room, shall we? I walked down the corridor and towards the two other rooms. As I suspected, it was just the bathroom and the kitchen. Something about the bathroom caught my eye. It was filled with countless beauty products. Scarily many beauty products. The shelves were overflowing. I could barely see the counter, even the floor was littered with them. Oh, that's horrible. Huh, so it's still not the end. Pictures? Okay, Here it is. Let me check if it's the same. If not, I'm just gonna skip. I'm skipping that back then. Now let's try to take a look around the building instead. I shouldn't barge into a stranger's home like this. Door being open didn't mean that I could just enter. My eyes wandered around the hallway, scanning it for anything notable. Maybe I could wait for them outside. I had noticed that the air in here I made my way back down the hallway when I heard some noise from the ground floor downstairs. Was it another tenant? Maybe they could help me. Maybe? I don't know. I wasn't very hopeful considering how badly it's been going so far, but it was worth a shot. No, it isn't. It isn't at all. Slowly I crept down the steps. I could make out a rhythmic squishy sound that was getting louder and louder. An uneasy feeling was starting to sit in my stomach. As I reached the bottom of the stairs, I saw a red trail under the ground. Oh! Blood. It must be blood. It's not Sabrina, I assume? It led into an apartment. Its door was wide open. My feet froze. The sound was getting louder, more frantic. I needed to get out of this building. Something horrible was happening in there. But to get to the exit, I had to pass by that door, past the broad trail. Okay, I was questioning why are you getting close to it? I considered going back up, but then I would be stuck in a dead end. My feet slowly started to move down the last couple of steps. Whoever or whatever was in that room couldn't notice me. Who knew what would happen to me if they did? The squishing became louder and louder the closer I got. Before long, I was standing right by the open door. The nameplate next to it, read Frederick Steiner. Interesting, said Frederick. I considered quickly running past, but my curiosity overwhelmed me. I peeked in. The room was almost pitch black. The sole window barely let any light through. I saw a rhythmic movement in the middle of the room. Someone was hunched over something. As the person lifted their hand once again, I saw a metallic glint in the light, a knife. They were holding a knife. Yeah, they were butchering something. They were stabbing someone over and over again. The techniques in the book are too simple. Really? I don't have time for this childish game if I want to be as funny as the most hilarious one. Taking from the face, nonsense. What? Why just a face? There's so much... missed potential. So you're taking all? But how? This is exactly what my studies have been leading up to. She just doesn't get it, but I do. I'll show her what it means to be funny. They were whispering to themselves in a gurgling voice. Oh, gurgling voice, okay. I had no idea what they were talking about. They must have gone mad. I stepped away, ready to leave this building for good. Sabrina, cough you? Okay, but my foot slipped on the wet blood. I managed to catch myself and avoid falling, but I couldn't avoid making a sound. The movement inside the room suddenly stopped. Oh no. Silence. Run! Oh! Oh, so that's what you mean taking all. That's fingers, I see that. Balls? I'm not sure what are you taking there. Intestines? Whatever the word is. But that kinda looks cool, by the way. Wait, how do I do a gurgling voice? Who's there? The person frankly shook their gorgeous head around. It seems like they couldn't see me pass off all the face modification. Oh, okay, that's good. The first body part fused with their skin wiggled like worms crawling out of their head. It's not you, Sabrina. How do I make a gargling sound? Okay, that is funny. Have you come to your sense? Have you finally realized that this is the only way to make an actually funny face? Look at me! Soon I will be the most hilarious one. And then... His breathing was getting even heavier than before. They went back to dismantling the body in front of them. Okay. I was safe. They really couldn't see me. I was safe. Will you suddenly getting chased, or Sabrina will cuff you? Trying not to make a sound. I stepped over the made my way towards the exit. I definitely didn't want to get caught. Soon I was in front of the exit door. I could finally get out. Oh, okay. Same thing then. Yep. The person from the apartment. I think... Yep. That's all. And explore it, will probably going through the back streets and avoid attracting any unwanted attention. Staying on the main street was too dangerous. The fewer of them I came in contact with, the better. So we meet Sabrina and Frederick back then. And I assume this will be going like the door one as well. And we will meet Amy and... I forget the name of that other kid. Lenny? The fewer of them I came in contact with, the better. But the moment I stepped into the dark alleyway, a bad feeling welled up inside me. Was I really that much safer here than out in the streets? Look back at the people walking by. Some shot glances my way. Perhaps because I was one of the few people around whose face looked normal, this made me nervous. Whatever was waiting for me here couldn't be worse than being surrounded by all of those madmen out there. On a corner, are you sure about that? I soon noticed that the backstreet layout was quite elaborate. There were no dead ends and it seems to stretch on forever. I should have glimpsed an exit leading. Was I just walking in circles? Right as I was about to turn another corner. Oh, hello. I saw them. I assume this is how you protect yourself from those people, by wearing masks? I froze in place because you look funny already. The person on the left spoke. It was the voice of a boy. Oh, you're normal. His words caught me off guard. What did he mean by normal? And what was up with those masks? So far that I've seen, okay, their hand looks normal. That I've seen is that only the adults are getting affected. Yeah. I tried to sound confident, but my voice got an adult as well. The other child spoke. Her voice sounded like a girl's voice. I'm Amy, and this is my brother Lenny. Hiya, Lenny. She gestured to the smaller kid next to her. We are hiding from the other people, those with weird faces. You are hiding from them too, right? My body slowly relaxed. It seems like they were really just normal kids. Are they? Those masks were still freaking me out though. Yeah, I am. Do you know how we can escape from here or maybe find some help? No, unfortunately not. I thought I knew a good way through these back streets, but I think we are lost. Not because of me, though. She wanted to... Amy punches his arm. I do it. Oh, hey! If we had turned right as I said we should have, we wouldn't be lost anymore. That was a dead end, you dimwit. You just didn't say it because your mask is too big. Lenny wrapped his shoulder and started sulking. Why are you wearing those masks in the first place? You haven't realized? Some people with those weird faces have been, well... They've been using people with normal faces as material. Lenny flinched as Amy muttered those words. It seems like they had seen some terrible things. Hiding in this alleyway had been a good idea. Alright, we should probably move on. There has to be a way out of here. I'll stick with you, that way it will be safer. It seems that the key are always related to either Sabrina or Frederick. I'm wondering why that is. I couldn't see their faces, but by their body language I could tell that they were relieved. I, too, was happy that there were other normal people out here. While we were talking, I tried to find out more about the siblings and what they knew about the situation. Our parents hadn't come back since yesterday night. We didn't think much of it and assumed that they'd be back late. But when we woke up, they still weren't there. We wanted to ask some neighbors for help, but they weren't home either. I thought we should wait, but I think that was a dumb idea. If they hadn't come back yet, then something must have happened to them. That's a very interesting thoughts of a child. And you want to be a scientist? What? Oh yeah, you already turned out so great, and I never said I wanted to be a scientist, I still don't know. What? Yeah, or artist, whatever. Why are we suddenly talking about scientists and artists? I tried to steer a conversation to stop a fight from breaking out. Does feel like some pretty contrasting job choices. They do, don't they? I guess both help people in their own ways. At least that's what one neighbor of ours claims whenever she fights with another neighbor. We have two neighbors who are close to our family and they... I froze. So did the siblings. Someone was there just around the corner. I jerked my head around trying to find a place to hide. For a second I considered that they could be someone normal, someone just like us. Someone who was just as freaked out by whatever was going on in the city as we were. But I didn't want to take any unnecessary risk, and I especially didn't want to put these kids in danger. I spotted a big garbage container not too far from us and quickly pushed Emmy and Lenny towards it. What if Emmy and Lenny is not normal, but actually leading you to somewhere dangerous? Huh. We made it just in time. Emmy held her breath. Lenny was fidgeting slightly. No, he was trembling. I was afraid that he would make too much noise, but he managed to pull himself together. Silence. Was the person just standing there looking down the alleyway we were in? Or were they already gone and we just hadn't heard them leave? Not to peer around the container. Lenny apparently couldn't. What? I was about to stop him and pull him back, but it was already too late. He had already picked out of our hiding spot. His body relaxed slightly and he spoke in a hushed tone. Emmy, it's Frederick or Nadebor. No. This person. So, Emmy... So all of the people here are related. Interesting. Also, when talking about scientists and artists, it must mean that Frederick is the scientist and Sabrina is the artist. As Emmy saw my puzzled expression, she started to explain. Don't worry, Frederick is the Nadebor we were talking about. You sure they are safe? He's a bit of a nerd since he is a researcher, but he's pretty cool otherwise. Seeing as I was a researcher myself, but I decided to ignore it. No. Here, have this, just in case. I'll go talk to him. No, Lenny, no. Lenny shoved his mask into my hands and jumped out of our cover. No, what the fuck? I was about to grab and stop him, but my hands gripped empty air. Lenny died once again. Emmy jumped up as well and ran after him, likely realizing how dangerous his idea was. I hesitated. But just for a second. There was no way I could let those two get out there by themselves. Like them. I suddenly put on the mask Lenny had given me and stepped out of our hiding spot. No, Lenny. Lenny had since called out Frederick and was now approaching him. Okay, I think because you're wearing a mask, you can subdue Frederick. I froze when I saw him. That was the guy I had met earlier. And his face was still ravaged as before. How Lenny had recognized him was beyond me. Lenny stopped a few feet from Frederick. Are you alright? Your face, did they do this? But his expression soon softened. Oh, that? How do I look? Very funny. Say very funny. Terrible. Why can't they just leave us normal people alone? No, fuck. Frederick's expression darkened. My feet moved by themselves and I was quickly approaching Lenny. Lenny was under the misconception that someone else had done this to Frederick. But I knew that he was one of them. I quickly overtook Emmy, who had stopped at the safe distance and stood between Frederick and Lenny. Frederick glanced at me. It seems like he didn't recognize me because of the mask. I was about to tell him to leave us when suddenly... I guess for air... My stomach. He had kicked me in the stomach. I could hear Emmy gasp behind me as my knees gave in. Okay, that was easy. My inside grew hot as I held into my belly, my view fixed on the grey asphalt below me. Then I heard Lenny cry out. I jerked my head up, still unable to get up due to the pain. No! Frederick had grabbed Lenny and was pulling him back towards the way Frederick had come from. I was hoping to find someone whose face was in an impeccable shape, just as yours. You'll make for some nice material. No! Hey, let go! Lenny was struggling with all his might, but Frederick was stronger. He picked Lenny up and... he threw him against the wall. Lenny's head collided with the hard surface and his body went limp. No! Before I was able to lift myself up, Emmy had apparently freed herself from her frozen state. She ran past me and towards Frederick. Stop! Let him go! She must have known that winning against an adult was impossible for her. But her judgment was clouded by her desire to save her brother. All because I had been too careless and had let Frederick hit me. But before Emmy could throw herself into Frederick, he turned around and hit her with his backhand. She staggered to the side, her mask flying off her face. Her expression was twisted in pain. Frederick froze as he saw what was under the mask, a normal face. Oh wow, 2 potential donors! A sick grin formed on his dismembered face. My feet finally stopped wobbling and I managed to stand up. I had to help Amy, otherwise Frederick would take her too. I charged toward as Frederick started approaching her and was about to tackle him when... Once again a hot feeling spread throughout my stomach. The difference was that he hadn't kicked me this time. Why are you looking at us? Are you seeing something behind? I stumbled backwards and looked down. Blood. My feet gave in once again. Frederick was holding a knife. He had stabbed me. Okay. Right, where was I? He fixed his eyes at Emmy, who was staring back at him, frozen in fear. No. Carrying you might be too difficult, but I don't want to leave you here like this either. I got it. He started rummaging through his pockets. Shortly after, he pulled out something small. I glanced at Emmy. She had tears in her eyes. My brain was screaming that I had to help her, but my body wouldn't move. I had lost too much blood. Having a funny face is good and all, but I wanted to approach this from a scientific perspective. There had to be a way to capitalize on this new trend. Maybe I could finally win a prize or two. Coincidentally, I found some art mushroom not long ago. Mushrooms? After some experiments, I discovered that they had the potential to influence someone's facial arrangement. Interesting. So I went ahead and made this. He held up something that looks like a small pill. That is very interesting. Amy started to crawl backwards, but her back soon hit a wall. This is related to the first door and probably the third door? How is that possible? Admittedly, I haven't had a chance to try it out yet. That's where you come in. He was now standing right in front of Amy and bent down. The first door that Lenny looks normal, you could say, but dead, and Amy was about to turn into something strange. You shall thank me. Many people will turn face comedy alignment as I'll call it. Maybe I'll be able to sell as many books as the most hilarious one. He jerked forward the pill into her mouth. I tried crawling towards them, but almost all my strength had left me. It was too strong. Her muffled screams were heart-wrenching. And then she gulped. Frederick stepped back, satisfied. Alright, let's see. It should start any seconds now. I closed my eyes. What happened? I could tell that Amy was bleeding in pain. She tried to scream, but all that came out was a deep gargle. After a few more painful seconds, it stopped. All went quiet. Well, the face looks alright, Amy. But it seems like I have to tweak it some more before its distribution ready. I heard footsteps. Frederick had picked Lenny back up and was now leaving the alleyway. My eyes were still firmly closed. God damn it, I didn't want to look. I didn't want to see what had happened to Amy. But I had to know if she was really dead or if she could still be saved. I slowly opened my eyes. No. Interestingly, this could help people by making this face like, okay, the people who take faces, okay, this is not normal, I'm not taking the face. Why did this have to happen to them? Why hadn't I been able to help them? That's a question that is really good to ask since it has been the second time. Amy? She didn't respond. I looked down the alleyway. There was no trace of Lenny or Frederick, they were gone. And soon I will die too. I was steadily losing blood and there was no way anyone would find me and help me. I closed my eyes. As my consciousness faded, I felt a small sting in my back, as if something had stabbed me. Interesting, it was barely noticeable. And then everything went dark. Very interesting. So I guess that's all for Mycorrhiza for now. We have explored door 1 and then door 2. Pets and a guide to funny faces. I wonder what's the third one is. Very curious. How all of this wrapping up, because it's all the same character, right? It's like a loop, only different scenario. And also we got keys. For what? Oh wait, that's a different background sound. I didn't hear that before. Fascinating. Anyway, yes, I have to end the video right here. See you later then in the next episode. Or the next door, you could say. Bye-bye. Whoa, wait, yeah, that's a different thing, sound. I didn't notice it back then. Huh. Wait, is the song updating after each door?